Happy Friday and welcome back to the Plus Money Podcast, your home for the best soccer bets in 15 minutes or less. We have a loaded weekend of European football on the horizon. We're coming off Champions League, some teams traveling, some teams at home, a lot of games in the middle of the week, and some great games in the Premier League. We'll talk about Tottenham, Manchester United. Everybody wants to hear about Liverpool as they travel to Manchester City. 2 wins on the bounce for my Reds, and we've got a big game in Italy with Bologna. They're taking on Napoli. Nick, how are we feeling? We didn't catch up with you in the middle of the week for the Champions League. What's the vibes like, my friend?
Vibes are okay. I'm still loving the Champions League. Still loving the format. Been doing okay. Um, I just feel like I'm personally letting you down. Cannot get any momentum going. Every week, I feel great about the picks, and just it's one goal here, it's one red card there, it's one something there. I don't know, but this is the week we turn it around, so I feel good.
Exactly. All right, Tottenham take on Manchester United, 7:30 kickoff in the UK, or 7:30 kickoff Eastern time, 12:30 kickoff in the UK. Tottenham took care of business, 4-0 thrashing against Copenhagen in the middle of the week. Mickey Van de Ven potentially goal of it could be goal of the season. A
Mm.
great goal from him. Manchester United on break. Manchester United, their last win against Tottenham was October 19th of 2022. In those 7 games since, Tottenham are 5-2-0 in that stretch. Now, another stat for you. Only Liverpool have more shots in the Premier League this season than Manchester United. 156 for Liverpool, 153 for Manchester United. No team has more shots on target at 54 this season.
Wow.
So there you go. That being said, I'm going to take Tottenham draw no bet at plus 102. It's right there. I texted my Tottenham friends right before the podcast, and I was like, "Is Vicario hurt or not?" And they're like, "Nope, he faked an injury." I was like, "Cool, we're locking in draw no bet on the pod." If you wanted to find something to cover yourself for Manchester United, it's that shot prop that I just talked about. 16 shots for Manchester United is a lot of shots. That's plus 115. 18 shots, if you really want to go there, is plus 220. In their 17 games, Spurs have only given up 16 shots 4 times, but in 11 games, Manchester United hit 16 4 times. So the numbers aren't really there, but they're close. I do think, like we just saw, Tottenham play a stinker against Chelsea, and Chelsea hit them for a ton of shots. And if Manchester United are one of the shots leaders in the Premier League, I do feel comfortable playing 16 shots at plus 115. That's where I'm looking at it. I think you're riding the same wave as me.
We're back. We're back together, which is the first step in extreme profitability for Plus Money Podcast, like we did last year. Here's where I'm at in all reality. I think I've been fooled a little bit. I've been duped by United because they kind of looked decent past month and a half. But there was really, truly nowhere for them to go but up, right? So I think that makes sense. Certainly the win over Liverpool was the one that is most threw me for a loop, but that was also a stretch of just Liverpool not knowing what the hell they were doing. And then I backed Man United last week, and what happens? Nottingham Forest take them for a 2-2 draw. So I think that is the real Manchester United. I think Tottenham's defense is just better. I'm going with Tottenham draw no bet. Minus 105 is what I saw, but we're going to take your plus money number.
I also want to see Thomas Frank, when he was the manager of Brentford, gave Manchester United a very tough time. This isn't the same team, but I think there's a similar outcome there. Manchester United 4 games in a row unbeaten, which is a big deal for them. Kid's not getting his haircut anytime soon, but it is what it is. Palace are taking on Brighton. Actually, what's very funny is that's our last game that we're going to talk about on Saturday. We are loaded up for Sunday.
Love
Great
it.
Sunday of games, because a lot of these teams that played in European matches got moved. Their games moved to Sunday ahead of the international break. If you want picks for Tottenham, or if you want picks for Chelsea, or for picks for Arsenal, I have plays for both of those. They're on the Patreon. Go check it out. If you sign up now, you get a free 7-day trial. It's $5 a month. It's less than a cup of coffee. You help support the podcast, help us keep the lights on here. Crystal Palace are taking on Brighton. This is a derby game. This is not a local derby game. I wouldn't say the teams don't like each other that much, but it's more of the fans hate each other. Brighton are winless in their last 6 games away at Crystal Palace. They have 5 draws and 1 loss in that time frame, and both teams have scored in all 8 Premier League games between Crystal Palace and Brighton at Selhurst Park. Crystal Palace haven't lost in their last 11 Premier League games at Selhurst Park. That's the longest ongoing home beaten run in the division right now.
Well,
I like both teams scoring over 2.5 at minus 110. It's hitting 3 straight head to head. 8 of 18 for Palace this season. Happened again for them in Europa Conference League today. 8 of 13 for Brighton. We're getting a great number there. And after that, I will play either of these teams, team total over 1.5 at
Yep.
plus 104. For Palace, it's 9 of 18, it's 50% of their games this season. Brighton, it's plus 146, 8 of their 13 games this season. I lean better. Palace are home. You would think that they'll score two. But Brighton are a team that could give up three. This game could get crazy. I'm all for it getting crazy. I think there's a lot of talent on this game. This is, in my opinion, the game to watch at 9:30 on Sunday morning in the Premier League or
All right.
9 a.m.
I am back with you. Palace over 1.5 minus 110, basically because of every single reason that you gave. And that's who I'm going to back in this one. I think they get two. I think they win the game, to be completely honest. So
Plus
see what
120 on the
happens.
money line. It was written down. It wasn't something I was going to give out, but like
Yep.
I had to have it right there. This Crystal Palace team, they're no joke. Brighton are good though. They like this. Like I said, this should be a great game for the
Yep.
neutral, which I would assume every single person watching this podcast.
Right. Right.
would.
The only, yeah, Brighton's defense is just a little shaky, right?
Yeah,
So
I
I'm going
think
to take the result out of it. I think goals is the way. I'm with you.
Danny Welbeck shot on target is a parlay piece. It's not good enough on
Always.
its own, but it's a great parlay
Man,
piece.
2 or 3 weeks ago, we were getting a plus number on it, but the books have caught up.
Yeah, yeah. Aston Villa take on Bournemouth. Both teams to score here and over 2.5. I don't have as many fancy stats for this one, but both teams to score over 2.5 here for me. Aston Villa are at home. They took care of business at home against Maccabi Tel Aviv in Europa League. But Bournemouth are a good side, and you're getting a crazy number on here on Bournemouth. Plus 100, both teams scoring over 1.5. It's 6 of 11 for Bournemouth. It's only 4 games for Villa this season. And I don't mind Bournemouth team total over 1.5 at plus 175. It's hitting 6 of 11 for them this season. Villa have only given that up 3 times, but I know Villa were playing better. They got that big win against Manchester City, which we didn't expect, and then they came down to earth a little bit against Liverpool, played into Liverpool's hands, and I know Liverpool have struggled a lot against the long balls
Yep.
this season, and Aston Villa are one of the teams that play the fewest amount. I just think this Bournemouth teams will be too physical to take care of business and get something or get some goals at Aston Villa. What are you seeing here?
I don't know. I've been very wrong about Aston Villa. I don't know, 9 out of 10 games so far, but I'm going to take them on the money line in this one at plus 120. I just think they've kind of figured it out. Thought they even, I don't want to say looked good against Liverpool, but they were in that game enough to that, things could have happened differently. I'm kind of glad they didn't. I don't have any love for this Villa team, but it's plus 120 is just kind of weirdly staring at me. So I'm going to go with it.
If I was gonna take it, I'd take Bournemouth, but I'm not. So I just
And
sprinkled
that's
money. I
that's
just
kind
sprinkled
of
team
why
total
like my
because
my
it's there.
inclination was to almost take Bournemouth. So I'm like, let me flip this because I'm
Yeah.
on too good of a
Oh,
roll here. We're gonna go with
yeah.
Villa. Reverse
Never be afraid of
psychology.
never be afraid to fade yourself, you know? And you're right. Aston Villa definitely had chances early on against Liverpool, which is why I talked myself into Madrid team total. I bet team total against Liverpool in the last 2 games, and that brings us to Manchester City. They're taking on Liverpool. And you know what? I don't know if this is me emotionally, but the Liverpool double chance at minus 115 is right there. They haven't lost to Manchester City in 4 straight games. They won both games last season 2-0. I think this is a draw. I
Yeah,
do. I
low
do think
number.
this is a draw. Um, but my favorite play here, Sabah shot on targets plus 115. He has it in
I saw it at plus
four,
140.
oh,
No.
okay. Well, here's some stats that make that an auto play for me. It was already an auto play. He's done it in 4 straight games. He did it. He did it last year against City in both games, and one of 2 the season before. So this is a guy who's shown up in these games. He's been Liverpool's best player all season. Another assist in the middle of the week against Manchester City. I think he had, or against Real Madrid. Excuse me. He had an assist in that game. He's been Liverpool's best player this season comfortably. Um, I'm sure Holland gets on the score sheet here, but I'm not. I'm not as afraid of this Manchester City team as I have been. They had a great win against Dortmund in the middle of the week, and Dortmund have been pretty impressive in the Bundesliga. Haven't been able to carry that form over to Europe, but I think Liverpool can get something here.
Okay. Let's get it out of the way. I want Liverpool to get something out of this game, obviously. I I don't like Pool just who are both of these teams? I can't get a grasp really on either of them. I think for good reason. I don't think I expected Arsenal to be as good defensively as they are. That's just another wrench that's throwing all of my logic off. Two Two things are really giving me pause. Number one, we watched Liverpool play, I don't know, maybe the most complete game they've played all year against Real Madrid and give up absolutely nothing on the run of what, 8 out of 9 bad results or something like that, like eight or I
It
don't
was
know,
it's
seven
six. It
set of
was 6.
7 of 9 that were
It
like
was
didn't.
6
Yeah,
losses in 7 games.
okay. And then City, who in my mind have been very good. But the two matchups that really stick in my head, I say this all the time, that Tottenham match where I don't think they got out of their own half, and then that 1-0 loss to Villa a couple weeks ago, which was like pretty similar. Like I don't think City did anything. So like when they're facing good teams, do they really have what it takes? I don't know yet. I would always say in a matchup like this where you can't really make much between the two teams, very even in the standings. I always lean towards the underdog. I think double chance is going to get bet an awful lot in this game. I see why you're on it. But the odds also don't make sense to me. Why are Pool a 3-1 underdog? The fact that City's minus 110 just kind of like it was a situation with Milan Napoli last week. It was like, or Milan
two
Roma,
weeks
excuse
ago.
me.
Yeah,
Milan Roma, Napoli.
Milan Roma. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Right? Where I said, okay, these this number should be a lot closer, and it was almost like the mirror odds of this game. That tells me Milan are going to win the game. Just following the odds and taking emotion out of it, Manchester City money lines my play.
That's why my actual like the play you should listen to me with is the Sabah / shot on target.
Yeah,
The if you want to get emotional with me and jump into the hole and get ready for me to like get upset on Sunday and be dejected, but the couple things I'll say: Manchester City and Aston Villa play the fewest amount of long balls, the fewest amount of balls over the top. They don't do the like set piece shithousery that the other teams in the division do that Liverpool have struggled against all season. Neither do Real Madrid, and that's why I'm not surprised that they played well against Aston Villa, that they played well against Real Madrid. Is that these are the teams that keep the ball on the floor, and it allows Liverpool to press. I mean, it also helps that Mo Salah has been doing the off the ball work that he wasn't doing in the first half of the season, and they look more complete as a unit. But I'm excited for this game. I hope for the neutral sake that this doesn't turn into a 0-0 chess match, which doesn't open up. Liverpool last year went to Manchester City and didn't play with a striker. They won 2-0, but they let Manchester City have the ball, and we just pressed the shit out of them with Curtis Jones and Szoboszlai, and we got a result, but we'll see what happens. Last game of the weekend for us is Bologna-Napoli. Should be a very big game in Italy. Bologna coming off, I would say, a disappointing game in Europa League today,
very
failing to get a win. They did have
down
an
a
early
man.
red. Yeah,
Yeah,
they had an early red card, which I still don't understand how that was a red card. I've looked at it from multiple angles. I don't get it. Napoli, back-to-back 0-0 draws, kind of look like they're stuck in the mud again.
mm.
They looked like they were stuck in the mud until they beat Inter a couple weeks ago, and I kind of feel like they're stuck again. I don't like what Conte's doing with Scott McTominay. You had so much success with him in the middle of the park last year, and you just left him in, and now you're putting him off in a kind of this like wing back wide midfielder position. I don't like what they're doing there. Either go 3-4-3 or go or and put a wing back out there and
Their
put
just wing play in general is just a massive issue, and I think he's just trying to manufacture solutions and say, hey, let me just put my best player somewhere.
doesn't
I
make
don't know.
sense.
I know.
Uh,
Listen. I think he's the most overrated coach on the planet. So we can get into that.
uh, I'm taking Bologna here, draw no bet at plus
Oh,
100.
okay.
Napoli's last win at Bologna was January of 2022. Not a place that they've gotten a ton of results on. Bologna trending upwards. I think that at worst, this is a draw. I don't think Napoli are going to equal win here. And if it draw, I'll take my stake back. I think Bologna can get a win.
That'd be cool. I am on both teams to score plus 110. I this like screams 1-1 draw to me. I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen. Quite honestly, I could really see a 2-1 win for either of these teams. I could make a case for both of them, both teams to score. Seems like free.
Speaking of both teams to score, I struggled to find a both teams to score parlay for Saturday. So it's only two legs. It's plus 145 or 148, I guess. Hoffenheim, RB Leipzig's leg one. Chelsea Wolves is my other one. Chelsea Wolves is a juicy one. I have a lot of picks for that game over on the podcast, over on the Patreon. And then Sunday was easy. We talked about Crystal Palace Brighton for plus 266. Celta Vigo Barcelona. Barcelona 9 straight games of both teams to score. Celta Vigo have had a million games of both teams to score this season. Only 3 games without both teams to score. I think it's 13 to 16 for them. And then Frankfurt and Mainz is the other one. Mainz have been good. stole a victory today over Fiorentina in Europa Conference League. And that will wrap it up from us, guys. Like I said, if you want more picks, I talked about Sunderland, Arsenal, Chelsea, Wolves, Hamburg, Dortmund, Celta Vigo, Barcelona, and Roma, Udinese. Additionally with player props over on the Patreon. So you want a few more picks?
Do you have Zaniolo to score plus 500?
I do not.
He's been
No,
on one.
no.
Hates
I
Roma.
have I have
Just throwing it out there.
another I have another Serie A striker that I feel like you have mixed feelings about that is on the Patreon edition. It was a big game this weekend. You guys can find out over there. I would say until next week, but next week is an international break, so we're going to take a little pause here. We will be praying for our Italians as they have to go up against Norway, I think on Tuesday. No, it can't be
We're going to
Tuesday.
be the best looking team that doesn't make the World Cup, though, if you've seen the new kits.
Yeah, I mean, but we're always the best looking team that doesn't make the World Cup. Um, yeah. Uh, Moldova on Thursday, and I don't remember when Norway is. So if they're playing Thursday, they're probably playing Sunday. That's a great way to ruin my Sunday because I think the Commanders have already ruined enough of them. I miss you, Jaden. That will be it from us. Everybody have a great weekend. Gamble responsibly. And if you want more picks, follow us on Twitter at Nick Dianni, at Andrew Passaro, at the Plus Money Pod. We'll see you guys in a couple weeks.
Good luck.